Evening all. Hey Gombos. How are we doing? Whew. Alrighty. Thanks for joining in. It's Friday night. Hearing you loud and clear. Fantastic. That's good, mate. Thank you for that. I'll wind this microphone back just a little bit. Okay. How are you guys doing? All right? Living the dream, as always. I know I am. Kind of. All right, so been thinking a little bit, or I should say a lot, about what we did a couple of nights ago. Trying to think about how, actually it was last night, wasn't it? How we can improve on the way that I worked / focused. I felt like I was just all over the shop yesterday. And then, hey Goopster, and then what can we do today to sort of make it a little bit more interesting? So I think step one is going to be aiming to either support compression in our TLV packets, compression / decompression, and do some work on the MSF side. What I would really like to be able to do today is get to a point where we have a very basic structure to load in our extensions so that we could actually push a half-baked standard API across the wire. So that's kind of the area that I'm thinking at the moment. But anyway, remember, step one, hacking without tea, very uncivilized. Back on the dong ding oolong for me, green tea tonight. What are you guys having? Oh, I needed something cleansing. Feeling really full. So it's Friday night. I'm not expecting an epic turnout. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Comments, questions and everything. Death threats, always welcome. If I don't hear them. Oh, English breakfast. Yes. Yes, English breakfast is good. I'm going to assume that if I don't get questions, that you guys are completely au fait with everything that I'm doing. So remember, this isn't just about Meterp. It's about the .NET side as well. So if you have questions, you can ask me, hey, why did you do that? What was the benefit of doing X over Y? That's what this is all about. So feel free to ask those questions on the fly as well. Hey, Eric. Oh, that reminds me. I really need to get another emote sorted out so people can do more than just have me go, But anyway, let's move over. So I think what we'll do, let's go back over here for a minute. Now, what I think I'd like to start with is changing the structure of the way the CLR Meterpreter is wired into MSF, because at the moment it's kind of tied to the Windows platform, and I'm really not keen on that. So I think we're going to fix that. Alrighty. Now what have we got in here? These changes here. These are the ones that just have the debug logs, right? Yeah, that's just standard errored up print stuff. So I'm actually going to get rid of those for now. Let's go git checkout stdapi. So that's just the Ruby one left. All right. So first of all, we need to go to, what is it? Modules, payloads, stages. Now we had it under Windows, didn't we? So I'm going to move the CLR up to the parent level. All right. Now, let's just make sure there's nothing in here that's over the top and silly. Everything else in here looks kind of fine. So the platform there, see how the platform here says Win? What we might need to do is change that to CLR, so we end up with effectively our own platform. To confirm that, I'm just going to have a quick look at the Python reverse TCP, .rb. So you can see the platform there is Python. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to CLR. Now eventually what I want to do with this Arch x86 is change this to Arch CLR. Now I don't know whether we should actually bake the CLR version in here or not. But maybe we should actually go through the pain of munging this just at this time. So let's change that to Arch CLR. Now, that's all we had to change for the stager. So we might just close that for now, and we'll go up to stages. And in Windows, we've also got CLR. So let's move CLR back up one. And let's have a look at Meterpreter. So this all looks fine as well. I don't think there's really anything in here that we need to change, except for maybe this CLR win, right? Now, if we have a look at Python Meterpreter.rb, you can see it's Python. So, hey, Aaron, welcome, dude. Thanks for coming in. So I think what we're going to do is we'll change this stuff to match the same, okay? So let's open this up. We'll call that CLR. I know that sounds terrible, but it will actually make sense at some point. Now, for some reason, this hasn't, you'll notice that this has an architecture in it and a platform. Maybe that's because anything that includes it should have that as well. So maybe for the sake of clarity, we will put it in here as well, and we may be able to remove that from oh, not Python, I shouldn't copy and paste. We should be able to move that out of the module itself, like the actual stager, but we'll see anyway. So let's just set this Arch CLR. Okay, now with that done, we also need to go to code Metasploit framework. Now we'll need to go to lib MSF core, or is it base? Yeah, sessions. Right, let's move the Meterpreter. Where is it? CLR win to CLR and open that up. Oh. So base platform, we're going to put CLR. Do the same there. Platform creates a platform specific. Yeah, that's still accurate. So Arch CLR. Now get rid of that to do. Okay. Hey, Bandit, you're back, dude. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in again, buddy. Oh, don't forget your tea. Now, what I'm also interested in doing while we're nosing our way through this nonsense is looking for a location that indicates whether or not the session supports compression. So if we have a look at this, see how it's got that supports zlib. So at the moment, we don't actually support zlib. So I think what I'm going to do is gvim Meterpreter CLR. I'm actually going to put this in as well. And this will actually avoid the compression problem that we've got. Why is that complaining? Yeah, that's fine. I wanted to add this one in because it means that we can deal with the compression problem later on. So what we'll do is we'll put a to do here. Remove this once we've supported zlib. All right. So that means we no longer have to deal with the compression problem, but we do have to do some other smarts with regards to the loader. So that's moved us out from the Windows sort of area, which I was kind of uncomfortable with in the first place. So let's go back out. I think it was in the wrong spot. Hey, Rick. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Always a pleasure. Let me just... What's going on here with my client? Don't know what's going on with my client, but whatever. Okay, so as we can see, all we've done is move some stuff, and we've tweaked a couple of things at the same time. if we went to do MSF console now, I will have to get rid of this Windows because it's no longer Windows, it's a CLR Meterpreter of STCP. Now let's see what happens when I try and run this. It might actually say, hey, this is an invalid payload. Hey Smash, welcome in, dude. Thanks for coming in, mate. Initialize constant MSF modules payload stages. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. So that would be in one of the things that we've moved. So let's open up modules, payloads, stages, maybe? CLR, reverse TCP. Payload, CLR, reverse TCP. That's fine. So which one is it that we're failing to load? Be great if it could tell us exactly where it is. Oh, here it is there. Stages. Initialize, uninitialize constant modules, payload stages, CLR, reverse TCP. Of course, Arch CLR. There we go. That's our problem. Hey, Wireghoul. Nice to see you, mate. How's tricks, mate? I'm just going to have a look at the Metasploit gem set for a minute. Metasploit framework gem spec, because in here there is a reference to... Crikey, I can't even remember what gem it's in. In fact, we're going to have to cheat. At Wolf, there we go. Just made it stream after doing Windows reinstall. Hooray! Welcome back, mate. We all love a good Windows reinstall. RBNV. So, what I want to do is I need to find Arch x86. There's a gem that has this in it. Come on, where are you? Pardon me. Maybe that's a little bit of a broad search. Where should I be looking? Maybe it's in source. No. Shims? No. Versions. Oops. Versions 2.4.2. Okay, let's have a look in there. Let's go there and we'll AG Arch x86. Here we go. We're getting some references in here at least. Here we go. What do we got here? Set comp tools. There'll be a definition for this somewhere. Here we go. Rex Arch. Hey, there you go. Long time no see. Things are good, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, mate. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. Can't complain. Still installing all my software drivers and stuff, but got browser and screens running. Winning. Thanks for coming in. All right. So what I'm going to do, even though I shouldn't, is I'm going to hack this. Because this is basically what I need, right? So let's put CLR just there, and it's going to be just CLR like that. Now, this route provides address packing to the specified architecture. Now, what I'm going to do with the CLR is, it's kind of hard because packing an address is kind of, it's architecture specific, right? So let's see what the Python one does. It's not even here. Not even in here. So Python is in here, but there's no other reference to it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the CLR. We're just going to assume the default sort of behavior. So this means that when we MSF console now, we should at least get past that problem. Hey Jay, welcome mate. Thanks for coming in. We'll hopefully get a different error. Ooh, look at this. We got a different error. Warning, that's fine. Okay, so it couldn't be loaded. Why not? Value specified. Undefined method cached size. Okay, yep. Okay, I'm with that. At least we've moved past that problem, right? So we need to just quickly double check that everything in here is doing what we would expect. Yep, there you go. There's a problem. We need CLR. Let's see what this does. Yeah, the thing is with architecture sort of agnostic stuff, because there you go, that was the problem. winning all the things. Now, one of the things that we do need to do with regards to our architecture is handle cases where we load things like standard API, but we use the correct extension, because at the moment it's just using x86.dll, and we don't want it to do that. We want it to load like net35.dll or net40.dll or something along the lines. So, Barney, welcome, dude. Anyone know of a good guide for packing things? That's a pretty broad question. Do you mean like packing inside Ruby, as in taking data and serializing it, packing it that way? I assume that's what you're getting at. Let's have a quick look. The art of removalists. Cue the trolls. Now, what I would like to do, now that we've got rid of the issue that talks about compression, we should be able to receive 3 packets and handle them all relatively well. So let's just have a look at what that looks like. Packet dispatch loop. So we should get a bunch of different requests here now. Assuming I've rebuilt this. Rebuild solution. Did we get a hit? No, we didn't. Oh, we've got a different IP address. Oh, no, we don't. That's fine. And let's run. We're not even getting a connection. 146.128. CLR Meterpreter reverse TCP. Okay, so that should be working. Let's go to Metasploit frame. No, cd.msf cd logs. Ugh, come on. It means packing a mouse for Python and knowing what they all do. Oh, there's actually a really good reference for that. Company cancelled a project because I refused to lead it. Really? That's bizarre. That's the price you pay for fame, my friend. Tail-f. Alright, let's just see what happens, because I'm thinking that it is connecting. Yeah, here we go. Exception raised from here. Argument error. Invalid architecture. Really? Ah, yes. UUID. Of course. So we need to be able to generate an architecture in this UUID. So there's all these little nuances that that come and raise their ugly head as we work our way through this stuff. So let's have a look at that for a sec. Alrighto, so we do need to add one here. We'll just add it to the end. The index actually doesn't really matter. Arch CLR. And we'll go the other way around as well. This is interesting. There's no map from 28 to a platform. Maybe we should add that. PPCE 500 V2. And we'll go CLR. That should be okay. Alright, let's try that again. My work is not going great with projects either. I'm probably cancelling some of my fun ones. Far out. Happens all over the shop, hey. Stop. See how far we got that time. Wrong number of arguments given to expected 0. So what do we got here? Our issue is create session. Core handler reverse TCP. These are all the lovely little things that raise their head when you start mucking with things like architecture. So, why is it barfing in initialize? Let's have a look at what this is doing. Some tunes tonight, don't you reckon? Base platform. Now, is that because... I clearly deleted something accidentally, didn't I? Let's cat... the Python one again. It's actually only called Python rather than CLR. Yeah, there's that little arrow that I accidentally got rid of. All right, let's try this again. It's probably the same. Also, anyone network engineer. What resource would you recommend I have a read on? Okay, let me dig one up for you, mate, because the actual documentation is pretty good. I've referenced it a number of times. Python pack. Where are we? That was, I think, pretty interesting. Okay, so this one here is actually pretty good. Like, you'll see how thorough it is. Goes into a fair bit of detail. There are a good number of examples. So I would say have a quick gander at that one. Barney, you're a legend, my friend. Struct working with binary data, packing and unpacking, endiness, buffers. That looks pretty rudimentary. I don't think I'd recommend that one. I think that one there is a really good reference point. It's thorough, and it should cover off most of the cases that you're looking for. Okay. Alrighty. Now let's try connecting again. Here we go. We're actually getting our stage now. Okay, so we invoke the handler for whatever request this is, and we get a response, which is going to be... sorry, we don't get a response. So we create one and send that back that's empty and say that we don't implement it. The next one, pardon me, request.method. Core machine ID. And we've got a bastardized version of that, which we'll hack later on. And we've got core enum.ext command, which will return an empty packet. And then what do we get? Failed to load extensions. No module. The name standard API found. Okay, this is interesting. Because obviously behind the scenes, it's using most likely the CLR as the architecture for the payload, right? Okay, so let's exit out of that. Now, what did we change in here? We had, let's do ag net 3.5. Right, here we go. So we use CLR version, didn't we? And CLR version is used to open up inside the Meterpreter loader. So that loads the Meterpreter DLL. Now the problem that we've got is that when we generate the stage, we're obviously looking at the architecture of the binary, which is going to pose a problem for us because our CLR version will probably differ. So we might have to put a little patch in place that will do this for us. Okay, so let's have a think. We need to find out where standard API is loaded, and that's in like core load lib, right? So if we just have a quick look for core load lib. Is that another follower? Satna has followed. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Very kind of you. All right, so client core. let's just have a quick look at this. Core load lib. Where are we getting the library from? So the library path would be something that's specified when we call this load library function. Load library is invoked inside use. Okay, that's cool. So when we invoke use, aha, check this out. Binary suffix. Load all the extensions that were loaded in the previous instance using the correct binary suffix. I remember this. I can neither confirm nor deny that I may or may not have written in this code. Binary suffix. Why do I keep going to grep? Binary suffix. Here we go. Client core. Let me just see. Ah, what does this say? So the binary suffix, here we go. Generate a file specific binary suffix. Okay, so what we can do here then with this is we can say, right, when the platform or the architecture is the CLR, what we actually need, this could be interesting, because does the session have the access to the data store? Just put my name there. Yeah, it does. Ops. Extract the handle SSO. Ops.delete. Bootstrap. Do we retain a copy? Data store. Handler on session. We don't seem to store the data store anywhere though, do we? So what we effectively want to look at with this is a way of referencing the data store after the fact once the session has been loaded. Okay? Even extensions have access, I think, as well. So what I need to be able to do here is basically choose, depending on the architecture, binary suffix. So if it's the CLR, what we actually need, maybe what we need to do is abstract it. Yeah, that's what we need to do. So we basically need to do the same thing we do with the Windows one. Let's do this. See how we're creating this thing here called CLR version. Now what we should do in our CLR specific Meterpreter session, which means this one here. So this ops should hopefully contain a reference to the what's it called? The CLR version data store. So ops data store CLR version. Now what I might do at this point is just standard error dot puts ops.inspect, just so that we can have a look at what's in it, just to make sure that my assumption is actually correct. I'm not a huge fan of taking this approach, but it is what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, so even extensions have access, I think, as well. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Jay. Hey, Mongo. Welcome again, mate. Let's try that again. And we will wait for this thing to crash. Right, so what do we got? We got expiration, com timeout, arch, platform, blah, blah, blah. We don't actually have the data store in here, do we? So the question then becomes, do we have two different architectures? One of them is like .NET 3.5 and one of them is .NET 4. What do you guys think? Another follow. Grim, RW Grim. Thanks for the follow, my friend. Any thoughts on that? Do you think we should have CLR Net 35 and CLR Net 40? What we would end up having in that particular case, though, is we're separating architectures in our listener, which we kind of don't want to go through the pain of dealing. Welcome to the stream, Grim. Thank you for the follow. What do you guys reckon? See, we've been trying to sort of abstract the CLR version into a generic listener, but maybe we're not going to be able to support that notion. Maybe we are just going to have to duplicate our efforts a little bit. What that does mean is that we'll have to change the architecture from CLR to Net 3.5 or Net 40. So we have two more architectures and one more platform, which in some ways makes sense, given that we do have to support the individual platforms, the individual architectures. What do you guys reckon? Should we do that? This is something that we can actually change down the track, I would assume, but I think trying to munge in exactly what it is that we've got going now may produce more issues. Grim is a Windows guru, really? Oh, that's good to know. Could we not do a version detection using the generic? Well, this is the problem. Like, how do we detect what version that we've got? This is exactly what we're trying to solve here. We actually need to know what the options were on the listener. So when we create the new session, hey, load Windows. When we create the session, we need to know what the CLR version is. Wait, I don't know why this platform is R. That's not correct. Did you notice that? Platform R, Arch R, Platform R. So that's definitely a problem. Let me just... BM... We need to go into versions 2.4.2. Let's open this up again. Because clearly I've done something silly. Okay, so we've got Arch CLR and we've got CLR. We haven't done anything else, have we? There should be a map though from the architecture. Oh, maybe it's the UUID thing that's busted. Arch CLR. This is what we changed, right? 29. So where does R come in? I don't understand why the platform that was chosen was R. Can anyone explain that to me? (27 to 27) isn't the same. Yeah, it does seem like they're a little bit out of whack, don't they? So Firefox is 22, Node.js. Maybe they don't actually matter. But I'm a little bit confused, I'm not going to lie. Windows 2, 3. I have no idea why that came about. Maybe it's because of this generate raw. Platform select. Okay, so here from the platform ID, you can see it maps platforms.keys. So the keys should match like this CLR, at which point we get this. Weird. You're dishing out subs again, Barney. You got to stop doing that, my friend. Thank you, though. It's very, very nice. Very kind of you. So, welcome to the stream for the next month, Grim. Barney is very gift heavy. Clearly, I've missed something here. So, X, that needs to be CLR, and the platform here needs to be CLR. Maybe that was part of the problem. ops.uuid.arch. So this architecture should actually come out of the UUID that we generate now, right? So for those people who don't know, the UUID is... Ooh, this is interesting. So the UUID actually is an identifier that specifies a few things, including the platform and architecture of the payload that is running on the target. So in doing what I've just done, I broke it. So what do we got here? Initialize. Why is this now failing? 2036 and create session. Eyes confused. I'm gonna have to get rid of that. That's not doing what I want. What I may have to do, just to begin with, is symlink based on name and just have CLR, and then when we come back to this later on, we can revisit. I actually think what we should probably do is like go CLR net35. That's basically what I'm thinking we should go with. Where is the UUID sent from? The UUID is generated, Gombos. It should be generated based on the platform specified in the payload and the session. Where does the UUID fit in MSF protocol? It seems to recall. Yeah, so, okay. Quick recap. The UUID is it's a generated identifier that keeps track of the platform. Let me open that UUID thing up again so that we can see it. Interpreter load UUID. All right, so it's a little identifier, an encoded identifier that refers to what have we got? There's a timestamp that says when the payload was generated. It's got a platform identifier, so you know what platform it is, whether it's Windows or not. It's got an architecture identifier. It has a couple of other things like XOR keys just to obfuscate it, etc. But at the end of the day, what this sort of encoded thing is all about is to be able to say, when a session comes in and it gives you a UUID, you can go, oh, are you a 64-bit session? Are you a 32-bit session? What platform are you on? Now, in the case of staged payloads, you don't actually have those unless you use the, say for example, reverse TCP UUID payload, which then sends the UUID down the wire before anything kicks off. Hey Archbishop, welcome back, buddy. So the intent there is to have this sort of encoded blob that allows you to determine whether or not a UUID fits a certain platform, and then you can behave in certain ways. Now, if you have a look at the way the multi-meterpreter reverse HTTP handler works, you'll see that it inquires what the UUID of the incoming connection is, and it will stage a different payload based on what that UUID contains. So let me go back to my this one here. So we definitely don't have the right platform coming through, do we? Let's just run that again. No, it's not HTTP only. It is for every Meterpreter session. It's just that HTTP has it baked into the URI. It's not a compatible payload. Why am I only seeing that? See how terrible that error is? Right, let's open up all the things. Don't take it personally, Jay. Barney's just being a troll. Okay. These are the kind of bugs that make me hate Ruby and the way things are currently structured. You see here, it's like failed. It's not a valid or compatible payload. Like, why isn't it compatible? Because I know I changed one thing, right? What did I change? What was the thing that I changed to make this buff? Because I've moved files around. All right, so let's open up. Where are we? We want to open modules, payload, stages, CLR, reverse TCP. We want modules, payload, stages, CLR Meterpreter. Let's just quickly validate what's going on here. So we've got CLR as the platform, architecture is that. That's fine. Core payload. Cache size at the moment doesn't matter. We'll come back to that. Platform arch CLR. That's all fine as well. Payload CLR Meterpreter loader. That's fine as well. So that means we're back to lib, MSF, oh crikey, MSF, base sessions, interpreter, CLR. Now this is where we were before, which is clearly busted. Yes, it does. When you set the right payload. So you know how you're used to doing. Let me show you. Let me just go MSF console for a sec. Hang on, Smash. It will become clear in just a minute. Use multi-handler. Okay, so you know you can go set payload, for example, Windows Meterpreter. Ooh, check out that crash. Don't tap complete when something else is broken. But this is interesting, right? Because this is probably more of a sign of the other thing that we've broken. So it's looking for a compatible payload. You can see here, this is not a compatible payload. But it's actually parsing it to try and see. So maybe this is going to give us an idea of exactly what's going wrong. Undefined method cache size for nil class. Okay, so I'll come back to you in just a minute, Smash. This may be the rabbit hole that we need. Okay, so we don't need the tools. We need whatever's in core. Where are we? Payload cache size. It's not that one. It's not that one. So why do we not have a cache size? Given that inside our, we do have a cached size. Maybe that is the thing. Maybe that's the piece that we're missing. See, each one of these core payloads have a space equals. We all reference the cache size, but from what I can tell, we should also be, there you go, we are doing it there. Where is it defined though? Here. Cached. This method returns an optional cache sized value. So if that exists, otherwise we return null. It's definitely not dynamic. Yeah, no dramas, Jay. Why is that unhappy? So far, 45 minutes of bashing our head against Ruby. It's pleasant, isn't it? This is why I like compiler errors. So this is invoked here, maybe. Sorry, just give me a sec. I'm trying really hard to figure out where this could be going wrong. Payload compatible. Name. So this has got to be it here, right? Skip over payloads that are too big. You watch the noise that comes out of this. This will scare you, I'm assuming. Oh, maybe not. Set payload, Windows. How interesting. Check that out. So it just goes to show, like, when it's actually parsing payloads, it's actually parsing every payload in the framework, and instantiating and checking cache sizes and whatnot. But why is this nil? I honestly don't know. Whoops. So that is definitely nil when this comes in, right? So is payload compatible? Framework.payloads. Okay, let's drop this in here. Let's just go name plus new line. Remember that standard error doesn't help as much. Yeah, it does say nil class. No. Don't even think about it, Mongo. Not at all. We are not doing that. Okay, so what's going on here? CLR Meterpreter bind hidden IP knock TCP. That's bloody bizarre. Okay, so why is it doing that? Why is it doing bind hidden IP knock TCP? Where the heck is that coming from? LS modules, payloads, Windows. Sorry, stage. This would be stages. Bind hidden IP knock TCP. I have no idea why that's appearing, because we certainly don't have that in our list of stages. We've only got one, and that's reverse TCP. Where did this is the, there's like include magic going on somewhere that blows me away. I just don't know where that's come from. But why are we not getting a compat payload though? I mean, that's just the craziest thing. Because we changed one thing, remember? We changed, was it the architecture at somewhere? I'm pretty sure we changed the architecture somewhere, and that's what threw us off. So CLR Meterpreter. I'm seriously stunned by that. Payload stagers CLR. You can see, look, there's only that. And we're not doing anything dumb in here, are we? No? I have no idea why. Payload CLR reverse TCP. No, not grep. I'm so confused. Has it got something to do with the naming? I don't think that there's anything in here that's name specific. Nah. Because the UUID is not even involved at this point, Combos. It's a valid question, though. This is just baking my noodle. Just a minute. Why would this be important? You can see there's a lot of differences in here. Like we want to be more like this. Oops. So we don't need to specify that. We can effectively leave this blank. Whoops. Not that blank. It's failing to create an instance of the CLR and returning nil. So it's actually worse than that. When you'll see here, you see how it's like enumerating payloads. It's enumerating a payload here that doesn't even exist. We haven't defined it. We haven't set up the relationship of it. But in our log, you can see we're not actually seeing any information whatsoever. So if we set so see that smash? See how I've just set the payload to Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP? Smashery. There's also a... Oh, I just hit tab again. Force a habit. Sorry. My tab failed. Set payload Windows Meterpreter reverse TCP UUID. So there's actually a separate one for reverse TCP, because when we deal with HTTP, the requests come in, the UUID is always baked into the URI, that big long messy looking thing. But in reverse TCP land, usually what happens is the stager connects back and it pulls down the stage straight away. But we have a set of other stages called reverse TCP UUID, and those stages actually push a UUID back down to Metasploit first. And Metasploit has then got the ability to go, oh, well, I can inspect you. So we're sort of moving towards the notion of being able to do a like multi-Meterpreter reverse TCP UUID. And that gives us the ability to have one TCP listener doing all of this shenanigans. The problem is that the architecture of MSF makes making a multi-reverse TCP really difficult for other reasons. But this is where the UUID is actually used. The Windows part of the line, a bit misnomer. It is when it comes to the listener, that's a reverse TCP, yes. Like when you generate when you generate a payload of this type, this says that the stager it'll have code in it that pushes the UUID down the wire. But on the listener side, at the moment it technically should be a bit of a misnomer in the same way that it kind of is for the reverse HTTP listeners. But it is currently important that you specify the platform, because there's no wiring behind the scenes that's smart enough yet to do the sort of multiplexing of different platforms and architectures as they come in on a TCP socket for various sort of architecture reasons. When I first implemented multi-Meterpreter reverse HTTP, I wanted to do the TCP one at the same time, and I just bashed my head against a couple of issues, and I ended up giving up and going, right, HTTP it is for now. HTTP and HTTPS, for now, they're the only ones that have this feature. So, yeah, anyway, what I may have to do, as much as I hate to admit it, for the sake of moving on, is go back into here. Hate you, Mongo. You made me do it. This may not have actually solved our problem anyway, right? Still Mongo again. Yeah, blaming Mongo. Let's see if this actually fails now. Okay. Something's hung. Man, that's really caused it to die. You wouldn't think that it would, eh? If it's not compatible, then it should just basically bail out early. Let's get rid of this for a minute. Results. Where does the result come from? MSF modules metadata cache instance find. Hang on a second. What's going on here? Normalize platform arch. What does that do? Target and target a platform. Okay. What does this do? Let's have a quick look. C arch. So probably end up spitting out a bunch of crap. Because remember we have these strings. What am I doing? Set payload, Windows, tab. Okay. So we can see CLR is in there. And R is at the end, which I don't know whether that's a... Ah! I've just had an aha moment. Where did I put that? I've just had an aha moment, guys and gals. Where did I put it? I added a new architecture to a list somewhere. And therein lies my problem. Was it the Rex thing? Was it here? No, sorry, here. I've lost my context. Ah, here it is. Right, that needs to go here. That's what it is. This index needs to match, right? I bet you that's the problem. And that's why we're getting a UUID with R instead of the CLR like we want. There should be some documentation for that, shouldn't there? Architecture constants. There probably is in the UUID. CCP, exploit payload stages, UUID, constants. There isn't any documentation about it. If this is true, then that's gonna solve the problem of at least having the UUID come up correctly. Set payload. Still breaking. There you go. So there you go. There's the CLR at the end, which is exactly where it should be, and I reckon that that's going to map things behind the scenes correctly too. Okay, so this is a problem because undefined method cache size for nil. Well, that's absolutely expected. What I don't understand though is why that name Ah, God. So these are all fine. Skip over payloads that are too big. You should be able to skip over payloads that are also non-existent. So like return false unless P. And that shouldn't cause things to die. Whew, this is hard. So is the Windows part of that line a bit of a misnomer? We've already answered that. Yeah, still Mongo getting the blame. Ending with that with a comma. Not sure if you can end a list in Ruby with a comma. Yes, you can. You can indeed. See that's just killed tab complete. That blows me away. Is there something else maybe then that outside of is payload compatible? Payloads? No, it shouldn't do anything. Look, see? If the payload's compatible, which it's not because we're saying it's not, just return false. Maybe we need to... Yeah, I'm really confused. Does it need Ruby 2.5? I'm not quite sure. I'm sure there's something that requires some platform that I don't fully understand. But the last working version that I had for Mayonnaise locally was 2.4.2, and rather than reinstall another Ruby version, I'm sort of sticking with that. So, but this is the thing, right? This is I'm absolutely gobsmacked by this. I'm stunned that this is causing us problems when we tab complete. I have no idea how. I have no idea how this happens. So we've got Android Meterp. Why are we not seeing Android bind hidden IP knock TCP? Why are we not seeing this anywhere else? Is there something Windows specific in our configuration that points it to the Windows payload? No, I had actually, trust me, I'd pondered doing that myself. But no, I'm not doing that. Why is that happening? I think we're going to have to backtrack through this a little bit just to try and understand where this cache comes from. MSF modules metadata cache. Normalize platform arch. The thing is, like, you can see that C platform dot names. Okay, let me just spit out some more debug stuff. Standard dot put s C platform dot names dot inspect. Let's just see what that looks like. Could there be a bug in the main version of IPNOC that's causing it to be included? Look, I don't honestly know. All I can say is that I know I've had issues with this thing in the past. Okay, here we go. So Windows. So we've got Android, Apple, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's all fine because the CLR one isn't even in there, right? Which is also interesting. And the architectures are the ones that come out. So Let's just do this for a second. Just checked MSF requires 2.6.2. Okay, thanks, man. I can assure you that that is in no way related to our current problem, but that is good to know. Thank you. Right. Ah, man, I can't type. Let's see. Maybe it's this searching facility that's the problem. Yeah, I'm sure it's documented really well. Brent Cook tends to document things like that fairly well, and the crew in general does. I'm just terribly lazy. Set payload. Righto, so we get, there's the platforms. And these are the architectures. Okay. Let's find out where these are coming from. Target and target.platform. So where is that coming from? God, this makes no sense to me, hey. Returns the target's architecture or the one assigned to the module itself. So in... Okay, well in our case the CLR one doesn't even exist because it fails to load, as we can see down here. Why that's the case though, I don't know. Compatible. Okay, so with that in mind, what does this actually do? Saying we want to find all the payloads based on these. So this is the thing that's causing the problem, right? So where is this metadata cache? MSF modules metadata cache. Is it up here? No. This method generates a non-cased. Okay. Okay, let's see. There's probably going to be a lot of entries here. Oh no, nowhere near as many as I thought. Post Meterpreter client. We're looking for a class name. There's a credential cache. Command dispatcher has a cache. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot again. Payload set. Interesting. Doesn't look like it's listed in here though, so maybe we need to look in modules. Is there a cache in here somewhere? Jeez, there's a lot. Okay. Encoders. Is there a class with the word cache in it? Maybe it's actually a module and not a class. Maybe we can go ag. What are we looking for? Def. What are we doing again? Metadata. So it is a module. I can still see I'm so stuck to using grep. Type grep class. Framework data service. Module manager. That looks like we're onto something. Let's see what this says. Module manager cache. Okay, so maybe there's something else in here. Like a payload set. What's that? Okay, this is ringing bells. MSF payload set, module set. Find payload. Looks for a payload that matches specified requirements and returns an instance of that payload. That's interesting. You can see I'm a little bit lost here myself, right? Let's go back to this module manager because payloads are modules. Module paths cache. Oh, but this is where we were before, right? Load cached module, refresh cache from database. There's got to be something here that says like load a module based on file path. Refresh cache from module files. Modules metadata cache dot instance. Refresh metadata instance. Okay, so maybe we can go from there. Was that a new follower? I don't know how to pronounce that. Yonelta? Yonelta. Thank you for the follow. Here we go. That looks funsies. Okay, so this is clearly the cache. Is there a find method in here? Instance. Refresh metadata. Remove from cache. Wait for load. Get cache key. Initialize. Okay, so what do we got here? Init store. And welcome to mix in hell, trying to find these functions. So if we go back to the, what is it, the exploit, you can see we've got a find method. Modules metadata cache instance, so it's a singleton, find based on all of those things. Class cache, see it's a singleton. Who knows what a singleton is? I'm curious how it would behave on a newer. I can assure you, I will bet money that this problem that we're having has nothing to do with the Ruby version. I'm so confident that I'm not even going to entertain the idea right now, mate. Smash. Don't ever say that again. So where the hell is this find method? This is the thing, right? Metadata. Oh, of course. I'm guessing it's in here. Find. Here we go. So, search results. Get metadata. Where's the fucking get metadata function? Is match. Dear God, help me. I don't believe in God. This is proof there's no fucking God. So, hang on, what was the name of that method we were looking for? Get metadata. Ag def get metadata. Oh, so it's back in the cache. Far out. Oh, okay, so here we go. You can see like we've got this cache and it mixes in search, store, and maps. So metadata is this module metadata cache, which gets set via, it's blank there, wait for load, store loaded, init store. Okay, so we've got to look for init store now. And that's in store. Of course it is. It's in store. In its store, we got load metadata. Okay, here we go. Configure user store. Load cache from file store. Validate data. Cache map. JSON.parse. Cache map.each begin. Obj from hash. Enable load module metadata with object key. I don't know what this metadata store is. What does this thing do? Okay, so the actual metadata object has platform, arch, etc. Module instance. So when you initialize one of those things, did you hear they're putting Viagra in tea bags now? It doesn't help your performance, but it stops your biscuit. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm quite happy about that. Far out. Configure user store. Okay, what do we got here? So this. What I'm really trying to find out here is where the hell it looks on disk to load stuff. What do we got here? I'm actually, this is how desperate I'm looking, right? Modules. Untested payloads. Group policy unattend. Okay, so deals with loading modules for the MSF module manager. One would assume that something in here is on module load, called when a module is initially loaded such that it can be categorized accordingly. Okay, let's see what this gives us. Class or module.inspect. Do the same for type, reference name, and we'll do info as well, and then I'll just add a new line for good measure. See what happens. Yowzers. Payload stages CLR reverse TCP. So that's good. Let's do this again. Actually, hang on. There is only one. See that? There's only one CLR reference there. And that is in the... Yep, I can't see any... So you can see it's generating classes on the fly for us. Okay. That's obviously promising because we're only actually seeing one case of the payload being loaded at this point. That's correct. Payload stages, CLR reverse TCP is definitely there. Let's do this. If reference, was it reference name? Or was it type? Reference name. If reference name dot include CLR. So I'm just going to drop that to screen. If there's anything CLR related in it. Okay. Let's see what we've got. So we have a payload. That's the type. Stage is CLR Meterpreter, which is correct. Type is payload. Okay, so that's fine. That's loaded just fine. I'm confused. CLR Meterpreter reverse TCP is not a compatible payload. This is the area of the framework that I know the least about. How the modules are loaded and what it is that's deeming it to be compatible or not. Which is a particularly frustrating thing to be lacking knowledge in, I have to say. It could have something to do with architecture, because that's what we changed, right? No, we don't want to do that. Did we change this? Maybe this is the thing that was killing us. Let's just put this back for a sec. Sessions perturb. I just want to go piecemeal and see what causes it to break. So it's not that. Okay, if it's not that one, then thank you for the follow, Chapa. Welcome to the stream. I haven't seen your name cruising around before. Let's go modules, payloads. Is that what we want to do? Let's go Vim, modules, payloads, stages, CLR Meterpreter. I just don't understand why this would be a problem. Don't really know why this is a problem. Oh, that worked. Why? Why did this work? Was it the platform that did it? Really? That's bizarre. Okay, so it's the platform there that killed it. If we left this as Arch CLR and this is Win. Oops. Cancel. Right, so it's literally the platform. Why is it setting the platform here a problem? What happens if we get rid of it? I'm pretty sure I added that. Ah, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I assume that by doing that, if we instead Vim modules payload stagers CLR reverse TCP, I'm guessing if I set this to Win, check that out. And now we're back to a completely unbelievably confusing error message. That is just so bizarre, isn't it? The value for the specified. This is the kind of nonsense that just throws me. Hey. So I'm going to leave this as CLR. come back in here. So when we specify a platform here of windows, everything's fine. But if we specify CLR, it's not fine. So the question then is, what are the actual legitimate list of platforms? And do we need to actually add that platform somewhere? Is there like a platform list somewhere? Maybe there is. There is a platform list. Self.platform, command shell options. Maybe because we don't have the CLR in the actual platform list. Exploit, payload generator, evasion. I'm just going to exit out of this for a minute. Open that up. Oh. There we go. This is a helper to an easy way to specify supported platforms. It will take a list of strings and build them into a list of platform objects. It also supports ranges based on relative ranks. Man. Platform, stage, and stager finds common sub-architectures between the arguments. This makes no sense to me. Actually, what does that from A do? You say building a payload from a stager finds common sub-architectures between arguments. From A, create an instance from an array. Initialize args. Find platform. What does that mean? Find platform. Ooh, what's this? Remove any. Start at the base platform module. Scan forward trying to find the end module. Ah. This is interesting. Mods holding back my questions feels weird. How did your son do at that competition? Oh, is that held back? Oh, maybe it's because it's referencing kids or something. He is still competing. Black Mark, he's still competing. He's down in Sydney at the moment with his mum. And he competed today in rope climbs. Tomorrow he's bouldering. And then on Sunday he's doing speed. It was filtered on Did Your Son. Hey, okay, there you go. It's a bit bizarre, but it is what it is. Thanks for asking though, man. Still going. He's enjoying himself, which is awesome. That's what it's all about. So clearly, like, of all the platforms, it's loading them based on modules that have been loaded into memory. So based on what we saw up here, I wonder if there's actually like a some kind of aha. I think we're onto something. Yeah, Frumsy, I am a pretty avid climber, I have to say. Pretty avid climber, my friend. I do climb a lot. How about you? We got other climbers in the crowd? Guest target platform. Platform windows. So guessing obviously is that's right, new gun boss was. Will is here. Will's a climber. Climbing out of bed. Fromsy, thank you for the follow. How very kind of you. Okay, so there's got to be a platform thing. Look at these things are defined. Where are they actually defined? I can't see it. Platform, MSF platform, lib MSF, vim lib MSF. Platform. Come on, there's got to be more than that. grep-r Linux pipe grep. Yeah, let's look at class. See if there is a class Meterpreter blah. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this is really interesting. I don't know what the ranking is, but we're adding a new platform. So let's see what let's shove it alongside Python, given that we're doing something similar. CLR. This is new to me, hey. Did not know this was here. Come on. Ooh, it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. Is it going to be that easy? Of course it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, I am definitely going to document that somewhere. The question is, do I need to add it somewhere? Platform. Let's see where the Python stuff is. Did I do something wrong? Righto, so Lou, given that there's no sort of reference to Python anywhere as a platform, shell and Meterp needs more AG. I agree, null mode. I keep forgetting to use it. But that's clearly not what's killing me at the moment. At least we've defined the platform there. But I don't understand why that's actually causing problems. And I don't understand why it was, it would have, I guess, been any reason why this thing would break in the first place. Let's just see, module, payload, Python. Yeah, we don't need to worry about these yet because we're not even there. I was just looking to see if there's anything platform specific in here. And there isn't. What is this? Oh, this is okay. We don't need to deal with this until we get to handling URIs in HTTP payloads. So that's okay. Don't need to worry about that just yet. grep muscle memory, yeah. No worries, man. All good. I just can't see where, like, you define a platform. Class Python. Ignore that one because that's not relevant to us at this point. libmsf core module platform. So that's the only reference to it anywhere in the source. Okay, let's go modules, payloads, stages, CLR. So this should be fine now, right? Unless there has to be some kind of map from here to the platform, which I don't understand. Payload, stages, CLR. Yep, there's nothing in here that I need to... I am at a loss, not gonna lie. The fact that we're not really getting any interesting information out of logs is a little bit frustrating as well. There's nothing in production. Let's just have another look to see if there's anything helpful in here. Ooh. Ugh. So awful. It's me doing this again. Ag is not a compat. Let's see where it's actually getting thrown. Guessing it's here. Anything in the MSF5? There isn't one. There is no MSF5, dear man, unfortunately. If there's an encoder type restriction... Ah, I'm looking at the wrong one because that's the encoder. Alright, so it's this one here. Yep, thanks Smash. Okay, incompatible payload error. Further down the rabbit hole we go. Raise. So that's in the evasion driver. I would assume it's this one here that we care about. Okay, so payload is nil. Let's do the standard error.puts thing here. Logging around this stuff is so bad. Where is it? Did we actually log anything? Uninitialized constant. Standard error with 2 R's. FML. Alright, so what do we got? Greedy music. So that comes out okay. Let's have a look what else we got in here. Can we see a CLR version in here? I would hope so. Yep, there it is, CLR version. So that looks fairly legit. So what we should do wrong thing. Let's have a look at the backtrace. See who's calling this function. Okay, so exploit driver in run. So MSF console is the root. So the previous one would be here, followed by there. Exploit simple. Exploit single. Yeah, so we can see here, make sure everything is in tip-top condition prior to launching the exploit. So, right, so compatible payload basically says, try to use the target's platform in preference of the exploits. Payload.platform. Now we looked at the payload and it's looking for payload.platform. Can we see that in here? Is platform listed? That's the data store which ends there. Yeah, so there's no platform. Puts payload.platform.inspect. I put inspect because you'll get nil spat out if it's invalid. Does multi-handler have an expected payload? No, this has got nothing to do with the multi-handler at all, mate. Oh, here we go. Platforms equals platform CLR. Hey, it appeared. The thing that we wanted appeared. Certainly didn't make anywhere near as much progress as I was hoping. Let's take those out. Okay, let's do that. And we'll also go EXP platform exploit targets. Actually, you know what we should do is let's do exploit.inspect and we'll do exploit.targets target idx.inspect. Has anyone seen of a religious hacking group? It's Archbishop's fault. Righto, so what have we got? Wildcard target. Interesting. So if it's a wildcard target, then it shouldn't really matter. Right? That seems fair. This is the multi-handler. Alright, so what is the code doing? Code is saying that the expected platform is either, hang on, let's put we'll go payload platform. So this would be EXP platform. Wildcard target is a list of platforms. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just want to see what it actually is. So the exploit is that whole thing. The exploit target is a wildcard target. The expected platform is a platform list, and we can see that the CLR is not in there. This is it, folks. But where is it getting this platform list from? We need to somehow get our CLR platform wired into this thing. Man. Maybe I'm missing something else that's silly. Where was that platform list? See, it's in here. There's no reference to it anywhere else. Find children calls the class method. Yeah, well, it's this platform list that's the kicker, right? So, MSF core, module platform. Where was that platform list that we played with earlier? Does anyone remember? Vim, lib, MSF. Is it base? No. No, the platform list looks like it's generated up front. Module platform list. So this is where it's created, right? So where is it initialized from? Payload generator creates a new platform list. There's so many kind of platform lists. They all kind of do the same thing. So I'm pretty sure that we were looking in the right spot for that. So initialize args.each platform.find platform A, else kind of range. Okay, so if there's an array, else check to see if platforms. Yeah, so it's adding a platform piece. So this is definitely it, but I don't know where it's coming from. Building payload stage IP list. I don't even know what that is. This is definitely the key though. 187. Huh? What? Am I in the right spot? I can't see a 187 at Wolf. Have I come in too late? Oh, you want me to go back to the platform? 187. Yep, 187. Looked like it was enumerating all subclasses of something and checking their rank. Yeah. I agree with that. But you would think that given that that's all we had to do with Python, why is it that we can't do that with the CLR? Now we've got the CLR appearing as a target platform, so it's definitely picking this up. Why is this not appearing in the list of available platforms? That's the thing that's throwing me, which is why I was looking at the platform list, right? So just hang on a sec. So you can see we've got an expected platform is a list, and inside that list you've got all of these, none of which are the CLR, right? I can't see the CLR in there. We are saying that the platform for the payload is the CLR, so we need to somehow get the CLR reference inside this platform list. So if we do this, was it exploit driver? Yeah. So expected platform is, yeah, so it's whatever came out of here. It wouldn't be the exploit.platform, it'll be this target index, because that's what we're referring to, right? So what's target? Specification exploits target index. I don't even know what a target index. Oh yeah, when you specify the target. But you see, the target is the wildcard target, right? After validation, so we're not even outrun. So target index. Exploit.target. So, okay. So maybe there's something special about the wildcard target that we have to add. Yeah. Wildcard. Okay, wildcard. Do I need to... Okay, I'm confused now. Oh, we didn't actually have wildcard listed, did we? It was in the output. Name equals wildcard target. Yeah, right, okay. Which makes sense because we do have a wildcard target, but that basically means it can be anything. I go back to my original point. There has to be a way of getting our platform inside this platform list. And I don't know how to do it. Because everything else is fine. I think as soon as we solve this problem, as soon as we get this wildcard target, ops, expected platform. So the platforms come off the wildcard target, right? There has to be a list of them somewhere. All right, Smash, I'll humor you and show you. So initialize comes here, right? And you can initialize it with a single string or an array. And basically, let's do this. Standard error dot puts args dot inspect. Let's see what this does. It's probably used in a few different spots, but I'm interested in this one. So I would assume that one there is the one that we're talking about. So I'm going to say if the args contains if args dot include, is it include for arrays? Let's do caller.inspect. So hopefully when we hit this line, clearly it's happening in a few other spots. But okay, so where do we get to? Be the most recent one, do you reckon? It should be platform list, platform list, platform list, transform, module initialize. Platform list dot transform module info. Platform creates an instance of an abstract module using supplied information. don't think that's the one. This is doing my head in. And args.include. I'm just trying to filter out the noise here a bit, right? Whew. And I'm going to go over. I know I'm going to go over tonight. What? Can't type. Here we go. So yeah, from A. So clearly we're deserializing something. Platform list transform, which comes out of initialize. Transform platform list module exploit. Okay. So this came from transform. Okay, so that's returns the Win32 platform list. So it's not that. So we get called transform from this module. Module info platform. Really? I wonder if we need to add this module info. Oh! Yeah, that's it. That's literally just come. Where are the platforms? Fuck. That's upsetting. Motherfucker. Okay, so I've definitely learned something. But I'm very upset. Ah, Jesus. That's really upsetting. Exploit target, so I did it here as well. Oh. Did I do all three? I did. Let's get rid of these hacks that I've chucked in. Wowzers. It is indeed a painful amount of time, but as you can see, we've all learned something from it, and I'm pretty upset. I'm pretty upset. And what this really highlights is that there's literally there's just not enough documentation. There's not enough detail in the exceptions. When you just go, oh, it's incompatible. It's like, come on, give me something more than saying that it's just friggin' incompatible. Because that's really upsetting. This error is like, okay, I can see that because I get errors when I spin up MSF. I don't need you to tell me that. I think it was a worthy exercise, though. Now this is good, okay? No module from the name standard API found. Now we're back to the problem that we had before, where we need to be able to specify the binary suffix for a thing. So ag binary suffix. So there's a few things in here, right? Each client has a binary suffix, and that is defined in Meterpreter. And what we were trying to do was override it in our session object, right? So when we define let's go lib msf base sessions Meterpreter CLR def binary suffix. So what I'm going to do right now, just to cheat, net35.dll, and I'm going to add a to-do here that says support different framework versions. Okay. Far out, woe is me. That was really, really annoying. What I wouldn't give for a type system. Let's see what happens when I run this now. Okay, so undefined method each for net. Really? So what's the default binary suffix? Oh, it's an array. Ah, crikey. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, so we need to return an array. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of this for now because that can't stick around. And we'll just override it in our base session. Whew. Yeah, just before the 2-hour mark, which is a little bit upsetting. But it is what it is, right? This will give us the same error as before. Standard API not found. So what I'm going to do quickly, because this is kind of where I wanted to get to last time. Add new project. Class library, .NET framework. Now, what do we call this on disk? Metserve net35. So here we need standard API .NET35. And that was it, right? Get rid of that. Properties, change the default namespace to that. And change this to, I'm pretty sure it was ... I'm going to do the same thing there, but yeah, ... bin. Okay, so standard API, make sure we're in debug mode. That's going to go up one, and build events, post build event. And we'll go back to here, change this to release, and make sure that we also there we go. Righto, so you know how we've got this plugin manager that expects an I plugin? So I'm going to create just a single file in here to begin with. Add class, and I'm going to call this a standard API plugin. Okay. It's going to be public, and it's going to be an I plugin. And that needs to be, this is where we're going to start adding project references to Metserve. Is that what we called it? It wasn't a plugin. It is an I plugin. Net.core. Did I not do that properly? Add reference projects to. Oh, I missed the. Yeah. All right, let's implement all the things. All right, so we can get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. So the standard API plugin will have all of the bits and pieces that we would expect all of the other plugins to have. Now, we don't actually need to do anything in the case of this initialization script. But one thing that we could probably do, and once I've done with this and we've proved that we can kind of load it on the fly, is payloads. Let's go to C, data Meterpreter, source, extensions, standard API. Let's see what we've got in here. Just want to chuck one thing in. Core channel open. So obviously we're going to need the ability to manage channels and things like that. I'm going to look for something that's really simple. Well, we're not actually going to go through and implement this anyway. So let's start with core channel open. Okay, so let's go back in here and to move this to a channel manager of some kind. Righto. We'll go private packet. What was it called again? Core channel open. I wonder why this is actually part of standard API, but whatever. Core channel open, and we take a request packet, and we'll go return request dot create response. I'm not going to do anything more than just that and hit a breakpoint on it. Now when we build this, I've still got this sitting in here. To do support compression. Let's build that. And then we'll come back in here. We go ln-s. We want to take scratch Meterpreter.net. No. We need to have standard API.net35.dll to data Meterpreter standard API. No. ext server. ext server standard API .net35.dll. So we're going to have to rename this because that's what the extensions need to look like. So ext server. So that's actually going to be missing from we're nearly there. Okay, so that did appear. And that does not point to anything. So that's cool. Let me just go back to here. Get rid of Scratch. Get rid of that. Because we need to have this application assembly name. The assembly name needs to be ext server standard API. There it is. Okay, now that exists. Okay, so all I want to do is I want to get to the point where we know that we can successfully load. So that means that when we get to the third packet, which is basically core load lib, so we can do core enum ext command. Load lib should be inside the command handler, right? Actually, no, it should be in the plugin manager because it is a plugin. Private packet core load lib packet request. I hope you guys are following along still. Return request.create response. Now, string.empty core load lib false this dot core load lib build. Please work. Oh, do I not have my listener running? No, I don't. See you later, Barney. Thanks, buddy. Oh, look at that. Core load lib request. TLVs. There's 6 of them. And the data contains bytes. 7790. That looks like an MZ header to me. So, I've already gone overboard for tonight's stream, so let's just get to the point where we know that we can load a plugin properly. Men's, how you going, man? We just got to a really interesting point in the code anyway, so you're all good, man. So var data equals request dot TLVs TLV type dot data. We know that it's going to be data. Dot first dot value as raw. Okay, so that is effectively oh yeah, man, it was. But to be fair, Smash, I think anyone would be fumbling through that. That's the kind of code and an understanding that I don't have. That's the kind of code I don't want to fight, and it's the understanding I don't have. So, you know, I had to refresh a lot of stuff that was going on there. It was painful though. Yeah, thanks for your support, guys. I know it was tedious, but yeah, what can you do, right? They're the bits of the code base that I'm going to battle with along the way. I think we've got through most of it though. Anyway, so we can pull the data out, and we know that's an assembly. So we should be able to go assembly, like with via reflection dot load data. Okay, so that's going to give us the assembly. Right, so once we've loaded that assembly, we need to be able to enumerate the types that are inside it because we want to search for iPlugin instances, right? We should probably put a try catch around this at some point, but whatever. We'll deal with that later on. But inside, we want to basically find all the types that implement iPlugin. Okay, so we want to go assembly.get types. Okay, where the type is not abstract. So we don't want an abstract class. We want a concrete class. So we want to know that it's a class, and it is assignable from. It's not abstract, or is instance of type. Is it instance of type? Smash, you can probably help me here, buddy. Is it, do we want to say that it is assignable from? Determines whether an instance of the current type can be assigned from an instance of the specified type. I can't remember which way around, whether we go with its instance of type. Oh no, we don't know. Is can't remember which one it is. It's probably the is assignable. Just want to know whether it goes the other way. Determines whether an instance of the current type can be assigned from an instance of the specified. Hey, look, is class basically implies that it's concrete, so we should be okay. Just got to make sure that we've got these things the right way around. Let's quickly check the documentation. Is assignable from. Is subclass of? Is that what I'm looking for? How the hell did I miss that? Is that one in there? Ah, there it is. That's the one I'm looking for. So if that's a subclass of, what am I looking for? Type of iPlugin. Dot first or default. Plugin type equals. So hopefully we will find a instance of that type. So if it's not null, now we've got to create an instance of it. Plugin type .create, or is it just activator? Activator.create instance. Now we're going to assume, maybe I can just do this. No, I can't do that. Plugin type. Ugh. Bar plugin instance equals as iPlugin. Okay, so we get that and we cast it to a plugin, and then from here we should be able to go plugin instance dot register and pass our self in, right? And that should be enough. Equals request.create response. Now, where do we add the results? We do it this way, don't we? Packet result. That's going to be success. Return response. Here, it's not going to be success. It's going to be something else. We'll say is it invalid operation? We've still got all our system error codes here somewhere, don't we? Yep. So let's pick a name in here that actually makes sense. Path not found, access denied, invalid handled. We want something that kind of implies that we've been given something. Invalid data, there we go. Error invalid data is 13. Let's use that. Invalid data. Generate an enum member. Okay, don't then. Invalid data equals 13U. Okay, who reckons this is going to work? Men's, I've just picked another batch of random tunes. Random tunes from my Monster Cat subscription. They just turn out to be pretty damn awesome. I don't know the names of them, they're just on in the background. Hey, I should probably wire in something on screen that says this is the current tune that's playing. So maybe I can look into that so that you guys know this in future. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we pull out the data, which is a byte array. Will assembly.load work? Ooh. It works. Plugin type. Oh, that breaks. Bizarre. Let's go back here for a second. Assembly.getTypes. Unable to load one more requested types. Okay, so why is this? Exception thrown. Unknown. So why can't we enumerate the types? We've managed to load... This is where we're going to start getting a little bit unstuck with certain things, because we may have issues with like interfaces not lining up. But I'm surprised that type enumeration here is failing. Let's just look at what... Okay, so... Entry point null, file name... Reflection only is false, yep. Oh, there's a create instance on the assembly. So that means I don't need the activator. Which is probably something that makes a little bit more sense. Fully qualified name of the type, including the namespace, but not the assembly. It's interesting that there's no actual type-based overload. Type of plugin is designable from T seems to be the right way. According to Stack Overflow. See you, Nolmo. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Yeah, okay, so type of I plugin dot is assignment. Yeah, that actually makes a lot more sense. From T dot get type. T is the type. Yeah. According to MSDN as well, yep. So the problem I think that we've got here is wider than that. Hang on just a minute. Let's just check. Public. Okay, so there is a public. Didn't we say we were going to have like met.stdapi properties? Have we bitten off more than we can chew here? Hello, Gonathu. I think that's how you say it. Forgot to do this. manager dot register function. This dot name. This would be core channel open. This dot core channel open. So we've actually got the ability to register functions. What is wrong? Oh, I've missed something, hasn't I? False. It's not blocking. Okay, so that builds successfully. So this is the core of like what it is that we're attempting to do. So being able to implement extensions as plugins in this manner. So if we can get to the bottom of why this is not actually working. Thrown by get types method of the O class and modules cannot be loaded if any of the classes in a module cannot be loaded. Yeah, I'm wondering if this has something to do with... Yeah, well, there is that. But the assumption here is that they are all loaded. But we'll have a look at the exception as it comes out anyway, right? The problem is that if we look at the details of the exception, the inner exception, unable to load one or more of the requested types. Retrieve the loader exceptions property. Could not find file or assembly metserv. Right, okay, so here we go. That's it there. It can't find metserv.net 3.5. So the question is, before we actually run that piece of code, let's have a look at get executing assembly. So what is this saying that it is? See, look, there it is there. So this is the one thing that I thought we were going to get bitten by just a little bit, is loading and having the types wire up. Because, so you can see that the current executing assembly, which is our own thing, is metserv version 1. And when we run this and we look at the details, inner exception, loader exception, that's what it's looking for, and it's definitely there. Could not load file assembly, blah, or one of its dependencies. So it should all be there, right? We're just loading them via reflection instead. Does that make sense? So at this point, we should still be able to look at whatever the current executing assembly is, and that's exactly what it is. Ah, that's the test console.net. That's because we're out. Is there a way that we can go assembly dot... Where are we? What does get assembly do? What is the easiest way of listing all assemblies? .NET list all assemblies. Let's see what this says. Attached process while debugging, show the modules window. Yeah. Get executing assembly dot get referenced assemblies. Type in ended up with listing. Okay, is it the modules window? Where are we, Windows? Righto, so This is probably what's going to bite us here, right? Unknown. Name is unknown. I wonder if there's a way of setting the assembly name on the fly. Because that's what's killing us right there. Okay, hang on. I've got an idea. Let's see if we can do... Yeah, you can't set the name or the location. That'll be all fixed. Modules. Okay, these are all just getters. So this is effectively the problem that we're going to need to solve. All right, so we've hit 10:30. We have scooted around various areas of the code base tonight, and it is a little bit messy, which I apologize for. But I think what we might do is call a halt here until most likely... I might be able to do something Sunday night. I can't do Monday night though. So we'll regroup either in a couple of days or on Tuesday. And we'll see if we can revisit this a little bit. So I think this is a logical break because this could take a while to resolve. I am absolutely confident we have the ability to resolve it. But yeah, right now I don't know what that would look like. So thanks again, everyone, for tagging along and dealing with the fumbling, because I tell you what, that was painful. The Ruby side of that was really, really not that enjoyable. I'm sorry for dragging you through the depths, but despite having gone through that, I really hope that everyone who stuck with me saw the kind of like the I'm going to say it's a mess of mix-in modules with code all over the place, and you don't know where it's defined, and the only option you got really is to grep and do standard error style spitting stuff out to console so you can see where things are going. But I learned something about the platform specific stuff tonight. I was pretty frustrated with myself for not picking up on the fact that we hadn't added the CLR platform to the multi-handler, so that was pretty dumb. My apologies for wasting so much time on that, but I'm hoping that along the way you guys did pick up some other bits and pieces, and you can see we're getting pretty close now to being able to dynamically load our extensions, and so from there we just need to get creative. We need to get creative. Now, in order to solve this problem, we do need to make sure that we keep things type safe. I don't want to have to return to or resort to native methods. Native types to make this plugin extension stuff work. We're going to work through this problem. We'll figure out a solution to it. So, but much love as always. No references to get system on the counter. That's epic. Must be a first, huh? But yeah, super appreciate everyone coming along tonight and hanging out and offering me insights and pointing out how stupid I am. You're all awesome, and I very much appreciate your support. Shout out to all of the subscribers and the Patreon people out there who are throwing money at me. It's very, very kind of you. I love you all very much. So see you on Discord, and catch you in a few days' time. Peace.